Hey, what is up guys, it's Rob, hope you're doing really good out there. So in my last video I did a demo and review of my brand new guitar, which is this 2012 Gibson SG Angus Young signature model, Thunderstruck edition in Ebony, the one with the lightning bolts on the fret inlays and everything like that. Really cool guitar. I've had it for a few weeks now and I love it. But I said in my last video that I was going to do also a comparison video between this guitar and my other Gibson SG Standard. And on the surface these guitars, they look fairly similar in a lot of ways, but there are quite a lot of differences between the two, so that's what this video is all about. So I'm going to talk about the visual differences, the most obvious things, the different pickups and things like that, and also I'm going to do a bit of a playing demonstration with this guitar and a playing demonstration with this guitar and all the pickups, just so you can kind of hear and compare the two and hear how they sound and that sort of thing. Quite possibly the biggest difference, and the first thing I noticed, is the difference in the two necks of the guitar. But I've had this guitar a lot longer. This is my 2019 model, but I got it at the end of 2018 because that's when they first came out. And I'm very used to this guitar and the way that the neck feels when I play it. As soon as I grabbed this guitar, the first thing I realized is that the neck, especially here at the nut, is super thin in comparison. It was just quite an adjustment at first to be able to play, and it just felt really slim. In some ways it's easier to play it, and in some ways it's more difficult. When I lead playing, it almost feels like I'm playing a child's guitar because it's so small. But playing chords and things like that, sometimes I miss the notes because my hands are used to playing a slightly wider neck. But it's just a little bit of an adjustment. If I played this guitar more, I would get used to how this feels. And I do sometimes. I play this guitar and then I'll go back to the other one and then that'll feel massive in comparison. So that's how they differ mainly. And I've measured the necks, and this one, the Angus Young guitar, the neck width here measures at just around about 4 centimeters. And the neck width here on the Gibson SG Standard measures in at around 4.5 centimeters. So that's quite a considerable amount, or it might not sound like it, but when you're playing, believe me, it is. It's really noticeable. So that side, both guitars, they're both made out of mahogany, both ebony, and the neck on this guitar, I believe, is rosewood. And I'm not entirely sure what the neck is on this, but it's a lot darker. I don't know if it's showing up on the camera there. I'll do some close-ups and things like that, and I'll also double check and put the information on the screen of what neck this is. But speaking of the necks, obviously on this one we have trapezoid, nice sort of pearl style inlays, and on this one we have the, in my opinion, a lot cooler sort of lightning bolt Angus Young signature inlays, obviously the acdc lightning bolt, which is a huge reason why I wanted this guitar in the first place. So the fretboards are very different, obviously, for nut width and the actual aesthetics of them as well. This guitar has the Kluson Deluxe tuners, the more traditional ones like that, whereas my 2019 Standard has Grover tuners. I think I actually prefer the Grovers and the more sort of metal. They just feel a little bit more reliable and a little bit more firmer. These ones feel a little bit, they're decent, they're really good, but they just feel a little bit less reliable. I've not had this guitar for very long to really sort of pass judgment, but just off a little sort of, you know, play here and there, I feel like maybe these ones would be the more better option to go for. Having said that, I feel like this guitar is quite an iconic thing, and it's a signature model, and it's a, you know, got a bit of age to it now. So I'm probably not going to change these, but if I ever would, I would probably put the Grover tuners on this guitar as well. It's cool to have two different truss rod covers on these guitars. The SG Standard 2019, it just says SG on it like most standards do, whereas this one has an Angus Young signature on the front of the truss rod cover. And they both got the same little icon in the middle of the headstock, that classic Gibson icon. Other things which differ in how these guitars look is obviously the rhythm and treble selector switch on this guitar is just black and with a black switch on the top of it as well, whereas the rhythm and treble switch on the Angus guitar has like a cream colour to it with a cream coloured selector switch knob on it as well. In terms of pickups on the SG Standard, we've got 490s, 490R and 490T, which stands for rhythm and treble. So obviously the 490T is in the bridge and the 490R is in the neck position. On the Angus Young guitar, we've got the classic 57 in the neck position, and we've got the Angus Young signature pickup in the bridge, which in my opinion has a lot hotter sound and output to it than the 490s on the normal SG Standard, which you will hear momentarily. It's quite hard to choose which guitar I prefer the sound of. I think it really just depends what I'm trying to play and that sort of thing, which might sway me to either grab this guitar or this guitar. And other than that, the main difference that I've felt between playing both of these guitars is that the Angus Young signature SG is a lot lighter, and also it does a lot better in terms of neck dive, because a lot of Gibson SGs have neck dive, which is where obviously they fall down because they're weightier on the headstock, or the balance is just not quite as it should be, so when you put a strap on, they kind of want to sink down a little bit. The Angus Young SG doesn't. I'll see if I can demonstrate that now. So I'll put the Angus Young SG on first and show you where it sits. So this is the Angus guitar, absolutely no neck dive, it just stays exactly where it's meant to be. Even if I give it a little bit of a nudge, it's not falling, it stays exactly where it should be. But if I take this guitar off and I put my 2019 Standard on, if I hold it in this position, so there's definitely a difference in how these guitars sort of weigh and how the weight is balanced with the guitars and everything like that, which could come down to various different factors. Like I said, the neck on the Angus Young guitar is thinner, so there's obviously less wood, which would be less weight pulling it down. Just my opinion. Anyway, let me have a quick play of both of these guitars and all the different pickup positions so you can hear the difference between the two. So there you go guys, there was a quick demonstration and a quick overview of the differences, or the main differences that I've noticed anyway, between my Angus Young 2012 signature Gibson SG versus my 2019 Gibson SG Standard. Let me know in the comments what you think about either of the guitars, the Angus one or the SG Standard. Let me know which one you prefer the look of or the sound of. If you enjoyed this video, then please don't forget to leave it a like and subscribe to my channel if you're new here, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. So thanks for watching.